Let's go.
Hello everyone, I'm Andy.
I'm Mark.
And this is Strange Stuff Podcast. Now, I feel like I should start off with an apology.
Damn right. I would just not stop, just keep apologising.
While I was listening back, while I was editing the last programme we did, you asked me if I was up to anything. I said I had a meeting in Fulefte, and you said, oh, sounds important. And I said, no, not important at all. In fact, totally unimportant. It's something I have to do. And it sounded fucking rude and awful. And I just want to point out that it is actually important. And Lena, who I go and see, actually is very, very helpful and comes up with some great ideas for me.
Good.
So I just want to put the record straight on that.
And it's not often you apologise for anything, Andy, so that's actually quite a big move for you. Are you seeing a psychiatrist to give you help in that regard?
I don't need a psychiatrist.
Well done.
No, it just sounded bad. That's all. I didn't mean it to sound that way. When you said sounds important, I was alluding to a job interview or something that you would consider important.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad that that's sorted.
Anyway, to the current bun. The only thing that's in there that's slightly interesting is the selection of the England World Cup losers that will be flying off to America any day now.
Sounds a bit...
Apparently Kyle Walker, England defender for the last 10 years, hasn't been picked because he's like 50 and he's got the ump, so he says, I don't agree with the defenders they're sending because you're not
I
same
couldn't
as
even
me.
name the England captain.
I didn't even know. I didn't know the name of the guy who picked the team. It's not Gareth Southgate anymore.
I was just going to say, the only two people that I can remember is that Swedish fellow.
Whose name you can't remember.
Göran Eriksson. And Southgate.
Lars Göran. You should know better.
All right. Yeah. When is this World Cup? I can't believe it's still going on.
Well, there's apparently, I did read today that while you can go into Walmart, buy a submachine gun and take that to a game of football, if you are a Brit and you are caught with a disposable vape, you will be arrested on the spot.
Why is vaping illegal in America?
Apparently so.
Really? I didn't know that. On what grounds?
I don't know.
It's not controlled by the tobacco companies that have all
clearly.
the power. Really, that's a weird one, isn't it?
But you can do a mass shooting.
That's all.
And I did warn you before, and I'm just going to reiterate, this is a fantastic opportunity for a great big false flag fucking event.
It seems to be, just imagine if it is actually proven that these things have been false flag, these assassination attempts. Just imagine if they're actually proven to be false flag episodes.
I mean, we all know.
Depravity.
We all know it can never be proven, because if you try to whistleblow on it, you will be fucking killed.
Shot.
And I mean, if they're willing to demolish the Twin Towers to start a war, they'll be more than happy to blow up a stadium full of fucking tourists.
You see, this is where it just immediately dives into the realms of conspiracy theories. So you just assume, you're 100% certain that the Twin Towers was a false flag event.
Yes.
In spite of all of the evidence being...
What evidence?
Well,
of
the fact that they actually know
Osama bin Laden, who they tracked down to a cave in Afghanistan where he remotely blew up 2 fucking skyscrapers in America successfully. These cunts couldn't rape a goat successfully. And you're telling me they could bring down 2 skyscrapers, and then they not only shot and killed him, but disposed of the body before anyone could fucking prove that they had him in the first place. No photographs, no video evidence. What a load of bollocks.
You know when you said you needed to make an apology this morning, and I said just do it continuously throughout the episode and you might even the score a bit. I think you're definitely in line for a few apologies.
Well, what a load of tosh. Can you imagine the Americans not taking a photo opportunity like Osama bin Laden if that actually happened?
So what instead of
instead of
is he alive or dead?
He's alive. He's alive. He's living with fucking Hitler and Elvis in Argentina.
So all of the pilots, documented flight school attendees, that's all fake news. Everything is fake news relating to 9/11.
Look, it was financed by the fucking US government.
It was financed by the US government.
Yep. You find out how many people didn't go to work that day. You know, the guy who actually owned the Twin Towers.
No, I know. And even the Secretary
took the day
of
off.
Trade, Lutvik or whatever his name. Funny enough, he owned, or I think he was CEO of one of the brokers, the financial market brokers, and he didn't go to work that day.
The guy who actually bought the buildings, and he bought them like 3 or 4 months previously, he had them insured against terrorist attack, ridiculously, for about $5 billion, which he collected.
Anyway, we don't need to go
Amazing.
down, you know, next you'll be talking about Madeleine McCann, and then I'll just get annoyed.
We don't need to, because everyone knows what happened there.
Right, what else is in the news?
Well, what else can I... debunk, you mean?
Well, here's a good question for you, since you seem to be so well informed. Is the war in Iran over or still going?
Well, there's technically no war, because all Trump is doing is like getting his soldiers to shoot at each other. They've caused more injuries to each other than they have to anybody else, but they're probably still bombing women and children, because that's what they do.
Because what's his name, Rubio, was convinced it was all over yesterday.
You know, until Iran say it's over, it's not over.
Well, the reporter said, that's fantastic, the war is over, so the Straits of Hormuz are open. No,
that bit's not over.
So what
I mean, to be honest, I think they're leaving it open until they get that stadium full of people at the World Cup that they can blow up and blame on fucking Iran.
Well, you know, guess who is competing in the World Cup?
Donald Trump.
Iran.
Yeah, I know, but...
Iran are actually sending a football team to the World. I can't believe they qualified for a start.
Well, Italy didn't qualify, but it's not the first time in recent years that that's happened.
Italy?
Yeah, I think they missed the last World Cup as well.
What? So you mean England are going, but Italy has not?
England go by the skin of their teeth every time, and they always let us down. It's just pointless.
Iran? No, is Iran? Is Iran? I'm going to check. Is Iran playing in the World Cup?
Yes, they are.
Oh, you know they are, do you? All right.
Yeah, but I think they've had their match moved to Mexico.
No, I don't think they have. No, that's the thing. Trump wanted it moved to Mexico, but I don't think he was allowed to.
I think Trump could probably swing it if he really wanted to. I mean, I know FIFA's corrupt, but Trump is the king of corrupt.
Clearly. Though I think the tide seems to be turning in a mildish sort of way, because he didn't get his 1.8 billion. That's been knocked into touch.
Small beer.
He didn't get immunity for he and his family.
Well, he's going to be dead before they put him in prison. He's going to be dead for 20 years before they even go to court, for fuck's sake. But talking of corrupt, I've got to record an episode with Richard this afternoon. I did one yesterday, but he's off to Download Festival next week.
I don't know what that is.
It started actually the year I moved to Sweden, so I've never been. But it's at Donington Park.
I know Donington Park.
Because of motor racing.
Yeah.
But, this year I think it's Linkin Park and Guns N' Roses are headlining.
Guns N' Roses? They must be in their 80s.
Big festival. Anyway, so there is a pop-up crowbar in the main arena. Yep.
All right.
And he shall be rocking and rolling with the best of them next week. I've asked him to take some good pictures and we can post them up on our Facebook.
So is Richard behind the bar?
He will be running the bar.
Very good.
He won't be alone. There'll be a lot of customers.
Yeah, how many people go to those sort of festivals? I mean, tens of thousands.
It's on for a week, so you're talking 100,000 minimum.
That's quite a few beer. What is he serving? Do they do cocktails?
Bourbon, mate.
Oh, is that the drink of the rock brigade? Bourbon?
Bourbon and lager.
Jack Daniels, is that bourbon?
No Jack Daniels, it's Bullet. Bullet and Coke.
What, that's actually a brand? Bullet?
Yeah.
I mean, a known brand?
Yeah, Bullit, not E-T. It's actually quite a nice bourbon.
I've never heard of it.
I've had a bottle or two. You can buy it here.
Can you?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so he's going to be busy, and he's going to take a week to recover if he's there for a whole week.
At his age, it'll take a month.
Is he the same age as us?
Yeah, more or less. A couple of years younger.
Oh, well, that's good. That would be something interesting and fun.
Yeah.
Let's hope the weather's good and he makes a fortune.
He's on a fixed sum, unfortunately, because we're talking about corrupt corporations. Most festivals in England are run by Live Nation, and if there's $1 to be made, they will make it, not you. They run everything from ticket sales to concession stands to everything.
It was pretty good timing, because Live Nation has been around for how many years? 15 years or so?
More than that.
More than that. So they really timed it well in the fact that the artists now make all their money with concerts. I mean, they give their music away so that they sell concert tickets.
That wasn't by choice. That was down to Spotify.
Was it? Oh, that was a direct result of Spotify, was it?
Yeah, because Spotify pay 0.000 play or per download of anyone's song. So even if your song is played 100,000 times, you're still making £4.
Is that why? But the artists have to be happy because they have to have the artist's permission to put the music on Spotify.
Yeah, but if there's no other way of selling it. People just don't buy.
No, but that's what I mean. But it is, though you say they don't make any money out of it from Spotify paying them, but they must make some money in terms of its free, not free, but it is basically advertising for their music so they can sell concert tickets.
Yes.
Otherwise, the artist simply wouldn't put music on Spotify.
Yes.
Right.
But there are several bands who refuse to go on Spotify.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Simply in protest. And I think, was it AC/DC was one of them? You just said,
they can't
fuck
still
you.
Be alive.
God, yeah.
Well, they were
from the
around
70s.
when we were young.
Yeah.
I mean, does
Bruce
that fellow
Dickinson.
Mick Jagger still do concerts?
Mick Jagger's still rocking and mostly rolling. I think he's in a wheelchair.
Because he must be 80.
He's not far off. Although, no. He's 70-something, maybe. He's not that much older than us because I was listening to the Stones in school and they were still quite young. Although they were in competition with the Beatles in the 60s. So, yeah, they must be actually nearly 80.
Yeah, I'll check it. Mick Jagger. First one that comes up. Well done. He looks 90.
Well, you know, he
was born in 43.
He's had a hard life.
Exactly. He's 84.
83, 84.
God, dear. And he was married to Jerry Hall.
Yeah, but so what? She married that 112-year-old billionaire afterwards, didn't she?
I don't know if it was directly afterwards. Are you talking about Murdoch?
No, yeah, that's right. It was Murdoch, wasn't it?
But Murdoch, that's
right.
God,
that wasn't much of a gold dig. Hey, I just need to get married one more time to this old fucker.
I think that's a bit unfair.
Really? You think she loved him?
Probably. That Chinese wife of his, she was the standout wife. I wouldn't have minded a wife like that.
Murdoch's wife.
Yeah, Murdoch married one of his employees from the Hong Kong office or something. But the standout point in her was when that fellow tried to attack Rupert Murdoch when he was giving a deposition or he was in front of some sort of committee. Don't you remember?
No.
And no one moved apart from his missus, who jumped up and attacked the attacker.
Good girl.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really standout. I mean, obviously she was a proper, she felt for him.
That's my meal ticket, you fucker! You'll leave him alone!
No, you don't have to put a negative tone to it.
She
was literally the only one who reacted to this fellow. I think he threw... It wasn't a milkshake, I think it was a cup of coffee on him. And he was well into his 80s then, so he was pretty defenceless. I don't know what got us onto that subject. Oh, music, that's right, Rolling Stones.
Anyway, let's go into history. What happened today, of all days?
Have you seen the Rolling Stones live?
I have, yeah. My mate Andy Phillips, he used to be their official photographer on tour.
All right. So you've been photographed with them, you and Mick?
I've never had a photo taken with anyone, I don't think.
Well, I don't blame them.
No, it wasn't for them lack of wanting. It was just I've never really been much for photographs.
No, you're right. There is something about you and photograph. I'm surprised you're willing to have your image on the screen, or do you distort it in the final cut?
No, but this is, you can't avoid being everywhere now. But in the olden days, you could actually exist invisibly. And I used to like being invisible. Who needs to be... God, if people can prove where you were and when you were, you can't lie.
And this is a prerequisite of yours, is it?
Fuck yeah.
The ability to lie.
No, I wasn't there. It wasn't me.
What do you need to lie about, Andy? You're in your apartment.
You never know. You never know. You never know what's happened. And you might have been somewhere where something happened, even without your knowledge, but you're implicated because you were there. They can see you in that picture.
You don't seriously spend time thinking about these things.
No, I don't. Not anymore. But I did. I was always aware. I hated people with cameras. It's like an intrusion. Don't take my picture.
Have you got any, let me think, some Amazonian tribal genes in your body? They don't like photographs being taken, or is it the native
That's
Indian?
because they think the camera captures their soul.
Exactly, yeah. But you don't have a soul, so you can't. That
But
can't be a problem.
neither do the Amazonians.
What do you mean?
They're like gingers. They just don't have souls.
So we've moved past picking on women, and now we're just picking on gingers. I was talking about that the other day. I was asking if ginger-haired people, are discriminated against in Sweden.
Yes.
Or is it just England?
No, Sweden as well.
And it seemed to be pretty global.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because they have no souls.
Is
we know
it
why.
Simply because they are a minority and people needed to pick on someone?
I mean, they're weird, aren't they? Let's not go into it. We might have a ginger-haired listener, and I don't want to offend him, her.
Yeah, but what do you need to... I just don't understand it. It's like grey hair, black hair, blonde hair, strawberry blonde, ginger.
No, see, strawberry blonde is a ginger who claims to be blonde. Strawberry infers that there's red in that head. Strawberry blonde, my ass. I had a mate, Lenny the Larrup, and he had a baby with his wife, Megs. And he came in the pub after the baby was born. He's just fucking, it's boy, innit? It's lovely, strawberry blonde hair. And we said, have you got a ginge? And he went, fuck off, strawberry blonde. About 3 weeks later, he went, it's a fucking ginge.
I just don't understand it. Have you got ginger hair? Is that the problem, Andy? That's why you
Fuck
have
off.
Head. I don't know what the colour of your hair was.
I was very blonde as a kid.
Everybody is blonde as a kid.
But when I hit like 9, 10, 11, it went sort of brown, I guess.
Sandy.
Mousy, I would say. I don't know. There are photos of me in existence. Hannah's
With
got
hair.
one. Yeah, Hannah's got one somewhere.
I'll have to speak to Hannah.
But they are rare, few and far between.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Go on then. This day in history, we're at
June the 4th, back in the year of, well, this is back in the days of the India Tea Trading Company. The Batavia crashed on the Hootman Abrolhorst, whatever that is. So the Batavia was a merchant ship of the Dutch East India Company, and it crashed after being separated from its convoy. Although the ship's commander immediately set off to retrieve a rescue vessel, the remaining survivors were subjected to one of history's bloodiest mutinies, when the de facto leader, Jeremias Conesius, had more than 120 men, women and children killed.
Sorry, I don't understand. Why did they kill anybody?
The commander left the vessel to go and get another rescue vessel from the convoy.
Yes.
So the person who took charge decided, this is my ship now, and anyone who disagrees, put your hand up. So 120 people put their hands up, and he had them all killed.
And do we know the name of the fellow who took over and killed these people?
Yeah, I told you, it was Jeremias.
Sorry, I thought he was the captain.
No, the captain just kept a low profile after that. So why did you leave the ship? Oh, nothing. Anyway, in 1783, the first public demonstration of the hot air balloon took place.
In France, Paris.
It was a couple of French brothers, Jacques Etienne and Joseph Michel Montgolfier.
Montgolfier, of course, that was it, yeah. Why is it we only know Montgolfier's name?
They were both called Montgolfier.
Were they? Were brothers?
Because they were brothers, yeah.
Oh, right, okay, fine.
There's a clue. So they displayed the first unmanned hot air balloon before a crowd in Annonay in France. And their 500-pound balloon, that was quite expensive in those days, soared to 6,000 feet and remained aloft for 10 whole minutes.
Before crashing and burning.
Other attempts publicly followed quickly, including with animals. Fuckers.
Have you been up in a hot air balloon?
I haven't, and I wouldn't. No thanks. Absolutely uncontrolled flying. Fuck off.
Well, you're not uncontrolled. You got height you can control.
Yeah, sorry. No. You could drift into anything. No.
Where we used to live in England, in Buckinghamshire, we used to have hot air balloons over us all the time because there was a hot air balloon club about 5 miles away.
Yeah, when the tennis courts were closed for resurfacing, we'd get the balloon out of the garage.
They were bloody noisy, I'll tell you.
The fuck are they noisy?
They are bloody noisy. It sounds like a jet engine because they can be, sort of 50 metres above your garden, and suddenly when they put the power on.
Oh dear, they're so unstable. That's the problem.
No, they're not that unstable.
They are. Do you remember there was we did a quick story about the guy who wanted to jump out of the hot air balloon, and he could have caused the death of everybody else in there, because the sudden loss of weight would cause the balloon to rise rather quickly and give problems to the expanding gases inside the balloon, causing it to rupture possibly and send everybody plummeting to their fucking death.
You're just talking bollocks.
No, I know it's a fact.
What do you know about the physics of ballooning, hot air ballooning?
I clearly know more than what you do.
So the fellow jumps out of the basket and that causes the
balloon to rise
because
quickly.
Yes.
Because it's lost ballast, basically.
Yes.
And it's uncontrolled.
To the gases inside?
I don't know, but something happens and it all goes fucking horribly wrong. It all goes Pete Tong. Look, it's a fact. Anyway, let's get back to this day in 1913 when one of your ex-girlfriends, and I thought her name was Emily Pankhurst, but it says here Emily Davison threw herself in front of the King's horse.
This is the suffragette.
Yes. Was Emily Pankhurst a different suffragette? I thought she was the one who threw herself in front of the horse.
Can't remember. So that was in 1913 at the Grand National or something, was it? Or Royal Ascot?
No, it was the King George something. It was the Epsom Derby.
And she died, didn't she?
Yes. No one's really sure if she meant to die or if she just wanted to sabotage the race.
And
did
they vote? When did women get the vote in England? If that happened in 1913, there must have been a lot of publicity for it.
Only because a lot of people lost a lot of money on that horse. It was a bit selfish.
When did women get UK? Bloody hell. This is really worrying.
I can't read it.
All I wrote was, UK, when did women get the vote?
Yes, but we're listening to you.
Established through Acts of Parliament 1918 and 28.
Oh, so they were allowed to vote in local elections in 18, and then 28 they let them do the nationals. Still on the subject of protests, 1989, Tiananmen Square massacre took place.
Yeah, I remember that because I was, 27 when...
Yeah, I remember that.
I wonder what happened to that fellow who stood in front of the tank.
Well, I could tell you, but you're not going to like it.
Well, he didn't die on that day.
Didn't they run him over? I thought that was the whole thing.
No, he actually stopped the column of tanks.
Well, in that case, he must have had to pay for his own bullet because they would definitely have executed him.
Yeah.
And that's really all there is of note on this day. There's a couple of unknowns. Jody Arias, never heard of, killed Travis Alexander. Don't know either of those.
Tell you what, in a month's time, it's going to be July the 4th, and that is America's 200th birthday, and it looks like they're not going to be able to celebrate it in any way apart from this stupid UFC fight.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really cares.
It's a bit of a shame, really, because, it is quite a thing.
Well, it would have been if anyone still had respect and love for America. But there's very little of that out in the world today.
Yeah, you're right.
Thanks to Trump. Well done, that fucking fat orange wanker.
I wonder if American tourists actually sense the unpopularity of
They
the
do,
American
because, I mean, I've heard and I've read in several places, Americans say that they claim to be from Canada now when they're away from the US.
Yeah, yeah.
But, I mean, I could spot an American rather than a Canadian, and most English people could. The accents are very different.
Well, and their size. Canadians, I don't think they have the same obesity levels as they do in America.
Hey, fatty, which part of Toronto are you from?
We just start speaking French to them. You speak fluent French, don't you?
Eh oui, mange tout. Parlez-vous comme ça? Je m'appelle André.
I don't know what proportion of the population... I mean, obviously, it's a relatively small that are French-speaking, but I think all Canadians do speak some sort of French.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it has to be their second
Not
language.
as fluently as me, clearly, but
No.
probably an intermediate level.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we get to today's subject? You're going to hate this.
God, it's bloody.
It's a reprise. We're going to be talking about
Ghosts.
aliens, more realistically UFOs or UAPs, because you know the Pentagon has actually started dumping these files.
Now, there's a story in the press, actually. Is this what prompted you? That Spielberg actually based Close Encounters of the Third Kind on what he thought was real evidence. Is that what the story was?
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of nothing been released so far, but there are one or two little things that back up some of the stories that were based on basically word of mouth in the past, and we're going to talk about a couple of those.
Area 51.
This is just kind of like a reprise of some of the cases we've covered before, but it's also a warm-up episode, because I think hopefully in the next month or so something with more substance will emerge and we can actually get into some meatier matter, as it were.
I like meatier matter.
We do like a bit of meat in our matter. Meat matters. Red meat matters. Now, for generations, stories of unidentified objects in the sky have occupied a strange place in human culture. Some people dismiss them immediately, others embrace them as evidence that humanity is not alone. But most of us fall somewhere in between.
Oh, that was the Spielberg story, that he reckons there are aliens living amongst us.
Yes, but some of us are curious, sceptical, uncertain, but still fascinated. And throughout modern history, reports of unexplained aerial phenomena have emerged from every corner of the world. You've got commercial airline pilots, military aviators, radar operators, police officers who we know we can trust, astronauts who don't exist, ordinary citizens, and the stories often differ in detail, but many share familiar themes. Lights behaving strangely, objects moving in unexpected ways,
Saucer-like shapes.
encounters that leave
Cigar-like
witnesses,
shapes. That's commonality between the stories.
disc-like shapes.
Yes, a saucer, disc.
So, encounters that leave witnesses searching for explanations. And for decades, governments generally treated these reports with caution. Investigations were occurring, files were collected and cases were examined, but public discussion remained very limited. But then something changed. In the 21st century, advances in sensor technology transformed the way military forces observed the world around them. Powerful radar systems became capable of detecting smaller objects at much greater distances. Infrared cameras became more sophisticated. So data collection expanded dramatically, and in some instances, military personnel encountered observations that they struggled to explain. And the turning point arrived when videos recorded by US Navy aircraft entered public view. The footage wasn't dramatic in the way Hollywood might imagine. There was no clear spacecraft, no detailed images, and no unmistakable proof of anything extraordinary. Instead, the videos presented something perhaps even more intriguing. evidence that trained military personnel had encountered phenomena that they could not immediately identify. Now soon, the Pentagon confirmed that the videos were indeed authentic military recordings, and Congress became involved. Investigative offices were created, hearings were conducted, witnesses testified, and documents were released. And what had once been dismissed as a fringe subject suddenly became a matter of national discussion. And the term UFO gradually gave way to a newer phase of...
Yeah, that's all bollocks. Why can't we just call them UFOs?
I'm going to tell you why. So the unidentified anomalous phenomena, and the change reflected... Yeah, but the change reflected an effort to remove assumptions from the conversation, because an unidentified object is not necessarily extraterrestrial, nor is it necessarily mundane. It's simply unidentified, a question without an answer. And today, despite years of investigation, some of those questions remain unresolved. We're going to look at some of the Pentagon UFO files, the incidents, the witnesses, the videos, the controversies, the explanations, and the mysteries that continue to challenge investigators.
Why do you think people imagine that all governments, you said it's global phenomena that happens everywhere, why is it all governments want to keep it a secret? What's the point? Why does anybody want to keep UFOs a secret?
Because you don't want the world to panic. They fear that a release of information on the scale of what they possibly hold would cause the whole world to just run about with the hair on fire, headless chicken mode.
Where did that judgment come from? You've got a lunatic in the White House that truly is frightening, and yet they're worried about releasing information about
because
aliens who've never done us any harm.
But we don't know that they're not going to do us any harm. We don't know.
You don't know if God exists or not. But what do you mean?
We don't know whether or not they're living amongst us and actually ruling us already. Perhaps Trump is a fucking Martian. I mean, he's definitely not human. We know this.
I just don't understand it. What's everybody frightened about? Why wouldn't you embrace something like that? Unless you're religious, of course.
Yeah, because I mean, that goes against everything.
Are the chosen people. Yeah. I don't know if that's the case for all religions, but certainly Christianity would be a bit dumbfounded if aliens existed. And
the Jehovah's Witnesses would say, too late, mate. We've already taken up all the spots. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses, I think they believe there's so many spots available in heaven and they've all been taken.
I'll tell you who would do well out of it. What are those people who... what was that sci-fi author in 1956?
The Scientologists.
Scientologists would do quite well out of this if aliens existed.
Ron L. Hubbard.
Exactly.
Yeah, they would, because apparently they've got motherships hiding behind the moon, which apparently proves that the Artemis mission was fake, because nobody saw any fucking motherships behind the moon when they allegedly went round it.
Is that what literally they believe there's spaceships hiding behind the moon? Anyway, so we've done all of this.
I told you were going to be unhappy. And here you are, whinging away. Anyway.
Is there a new angle?
Yes. But you're not going to let me get there.
The film was having an affair with his plane mechanic, and they needed to cover up that fact, so they invented some nonsense about alien films.
That's exactly what happened. And then they made a film called Brokeback Mountain.
That was a good movie.
How could you watch gay porn?
What do you mean it was a very good movie?
Anyway, we're talking about the limits of human knowledge, about what happens when advanced technology encounters observations.
Human knowledge, I can fully understand.
What happens when advanced technology encounters observations that resist easy explanation. And also about a question that has followed humanity for generations. When something appears in the sky that cannot be readily explained, what exactly are we looking at?
Yeah.
Now, to understand why recent Pentagon disclosures attracted so much attention, we must first understand the history that came before them. The modern UFO era is often said to have begun in the summer of 1947. A private pilot named Kenneth Arnold was flying near Mount Rainier in Washington state when he reported seeing a formation of unusual objects moving at remarkable speed. When journalists asked him to describe what he had witnessed, Arnold compared their motion to sauces skipping across water.
Sauces?
And that's what, sauces.
What, like ketchup?
Yeah, ketchup, mayonnaise. So the phrase flying saucer was born. And within weeks, reports of strange aerial objects began appearing throughout the United States. Some were almost certainly misidentifications. Others may have involved military aircraft or atmospheric phenomena. Many lacked sufficient information for investigators to reach any conclusions at all. But public fascination grew rapidly, and then came one of the most famous events in UFO history, Roswell. In July of the following year, 1947, military personnel announced that they had recovered a flying disc near Roswell, New Mexico.
Sorry, who announced that?
Military personnel.
Well,
US.
that's right. This is the news thing that was then withdrawn.
The statement was very quickly withdrawn. Officials explained that the debris originated from a weather balloon, and the story might have ended there, but instead it evolved into one of the most enduring mysteries in popular culture. Decades later, additional information revealed that debris had actually been associated with a classified surveillance project known as Project Mogul. And for many people, this explanation resolved the matter. For others, however, questions remained. Regardless of interpretation, Roswell became a symbol, a case study in secrecy, speculation, and public distrust.
I've never actually ascertained, do you believe in aliens and UFOs?
Yes, I have to.
Why?
It's our only hope.
What, that someone's going to guide us out of this mess?
Yes, we need someone who knows how to survive as a species to show us the fucking way, because we are rubbish.
So you don't believe in astronauts, you don't believe we ever went to the moon, you don't believe that we've sent space rockets into space with people on board?
No.
But you do believe in aliens?
Yes.
But how does your brain work? There's so much
We don't know, do we?
Sent people into space.
We don't know how our brains work.
We don't know how your brain works.
Nobody knows.
It's
So anyway,
funny how you pick on things to believe and dismiss.
that is what we do as a race. We pick and choose what we believe in.
You should be religious. You should believe in God.
But don't be ridiculous.
What do you mean? There's no evidence that he exists. It's perfect for you to believe in.
No,
Yes.
no. I'm not created to serve anybody. Fuck off.
What do you mean? We're all here to serve.
Yeah, according to our human masters, that's exactly what we're here for. But I am not having that.
So you're hoping for salvation for some alien force?
We need to rid ourselves of our elite upper layer. The people that control, that hold all the fucking strings.
And you think that's going to happen with a bit of alien activity?
Zap. That would be ideal.
Why do you think they're
Otherwise, we're
accumulating all
doomed.
of this wealth? It's to protect themselves when the aliens do arrive, obviously.
They think they can bribe the aliens.
Well,
We've got lots of dollars for you. We don't need your dollars. We will eat them with our steely knives.
Getting Cadbury's Mash Man on board.
So
All right,
anyway.
carry on then. So yeah, I can't remember where we got to.
As sightings continued throughout the 50s and 60s, the US Air Force launched a series of investigations. They had great names. They had Project Sign, Project Grudge, Project Blue Book. Thousands of reports were collected, and investigators attempted to separate identifiable phenomena from truly unexplained cases. And the majority received conventional explanations. Stars mistaken for aircraft, planets mistaken for hovering objects, weather balloons, experimental aircraft, optical illusions, radar errors. Human perception, it turns out, can be remarkably unreliable, especially under unusual conditions. But not every case could be explained. Some reports lacked sufficient information, others contained conflicting testimony, and a small percentage remained officially unresolved.
What you're talking about at the moment, that's all from military personnel, these reports.
Yes. But importantly, unresolved doesn't mean alien. It simply means that investigators lacked enough evidence to reach a conclusion. And this is typical government speak. They'll never use a term simply because they haven't got another explanation. Now, this distinction would become increasingly important in later decades. In 1969, the Project Blue Book came to an end, and the Air Force concluded that UFO investigations were unlikely to produce any scientific significant discoveries. Official interest appeared to fade, but public fascination didn't. The topic remained alive in books, documentaries, conferences, and popular culture. TV programs explored alleged encounters, authors published extraordinary claims, and conspiracy theories flourished. The subject became increasingly polarised. Many believers see evidence of government cover-ups, and many sceptics dismiss the entire phenomenon outright. Meaningful discussion becomes often difficult.
Do you think it could be that what people are actually looking for are conspiracy theories about government cover-ups? That's what people are hungry for, and UFOs happen to be a perfect medium for that.
But the thing is, a conspiracy theory is only a theory until it's proven. Everything that's proven started off as a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, actually, I think you're probably right.
The Watergate scandal was a conspiracy theory, but it turned out to be fucking true.
I don't know, actually. No, because a conspiracy has to define it as a conspiracy, it has to be a mass of people believing in something without evidence.
It only needs 3 or more to have a conspiracy.
Does it?
According to legal courts. If you conspire to rob a bank, there only needs to be 3 of you.
Yeah, but that's slightly different, isn't it?
It's not, though. It's a conspiracy. It's 3 or more people getting together to form a plan or an idea that is against the law. I don't think
the general public didn't create a conspiracy about Watergate. That was 2 reporters.
Or more.
Or whatever, however many it was.
Anyway, behind the scenes, we're not going to go into that because we could do a whole programme on conspiracy. But behind the scenes, reports continued coming in. Military pilots occasionally described unusual encounters. Radar operators particularly detected unexpected targets. And intelligence agencies, bit of a misnomer, oxymoron, monitored foreign technological developments. The sky remained busy and sometimes confusing. And then, beginning in the late 20th century, military technology entered a new era. Radar systems improved dramatically. Sensor networks expanded, infrared imaging became more sophisticated. Data collection increased on an unprecedented scale, and the result was somewhat unexpected.
What are you talking about infrared technology? What, they've got pictures of flying saucers with little naked hotspots in them or something?
Well, they could see further and better. And smaller objects became more visible in distance.
You see, the thing I find a bit questionable about this whole pilot thing, and just think how many hours commercial pilots spend in the air as compared to military pilots. We know that there's thousands of aircraft in the sky, commercial aircraft, and the pilots are sitting there doing pretty much nothing apart from landing and takeoff. They got all the time in the world to survey what's going on in the sky, and they hardly ever, like 1 in 20 years or something, see something anomalous.
No, they do see something anomalous, but they don't usually report it because it affects their career.
How does it affect their career?
They suddenly become unemployed. They don't want people seeing fucking UFOs up near their aircraft, these plane companies. They just don't want it. It's a stigma. It goes with you everywhere. Lots of people don't report stuff because of the consequences.
So you think that applies more to commercial pilots than it does to military pilots?
Yeah, because military pilots are absolutely under orders to report everything they see, because it could be the Ruskies. So they have to report it. Anyway, objects that would have once gone unnoticed now generated sensor data, and some were eventually identified, but others remain puzzling. And personnel operating these systems occasionally encountered observations that seemed inconsistent with known aircraft behaviour. Most of them proved explainable, but a few didn't. And by the early 2000s, reports of unusual aerial encounters were becoming difficult to ignore, especially among certain military communities, because pilots flying training missions reported seeing unidentified objects with increasing frequency. Radar operators observed unusual contacts, and questions began circulating through official channels. What are these objects?
Were they
foreign?
Now? What year are we in? What sort of
The early 2000s. So what were these objects? Were they foreign surveillance systems, advanced drones, sensor errors, or something else entirely? The answers are just unclear. But interest was growing, and soon a single incident off the coast of Southern California would transform this conversation forever. And we did an episode about the Nimitz encounter.
That was a boat, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a big boat. It was in November 2004 in the Pacific Ocean, approximately 100 miles southwest of San Diego. The USS Nimitz aircraft carrier strike group was conducting routine training, and few people involved could have imagined that an encounter during these exercises would become one of the most discussed UFO cases in modern history.
Well, clearly, if we've discussed it.
Yeah, and the strike group represented some of the most advanced military capability on Earth, the best advanced military capability on Earth. Multiple ships, sophisticated radar systems, highly trained personnel, blue on blue, advanced fighter aircraft.
What does that mean, blue on blue?
It means American shooting American. Contact. Oh, blue on blue. Sorry.
Where does the colour blue come from? They don't wear blue.
I don't know. It's better than saying.
Going along.
It's better than saying John Marshall Rickman Jr. III just shot Henry blah the third junior. It's easier to say blue on blue, isn't it?
I mean, however critical I am about the American system at the moment, I don't think I'm racist. You sound a bit racist against Americans. Did you get knocked back by an American girl at some stage?
No, but I have been knocked off by an American girl.
Dear.
Anyway, this environment with the ships and the fighter aircraft and the radar technology generates enormous amounts of data. And according to numerous accounts, something unusual began appearing on the radar. Operators aboard the guided missile cruiser USS Princeton noticed mysterious contacts. The objects appeared at high altitude and then descended really quickly. Sometimes they seemed to remain stationary. Other times they moved unexpectedly. At first, operators suspected equipment problems. Radar systems occasionally produce false targets. Software glitches happen and calibration issues can occur. So extraordinary readings demand careful verification. But the contacts continued appearing again and again. Days passed and the objects remained. Eventually, commanders decided to investigate directly. So 2 Navy FA Super Hornets were redirected towards one of the radar contacts. And among the pilots was Commander David Fravor, Marshall Jr. III, an experienced aviator and commanding officer. Now, as Fravor approached the designated location, he noticed something unusual below. The ocean's surface appeared disturbed. Witnesses later described an area of churning water, almost as though something large existed beneath the surface. Hovering above that disturbance was an object unlike any conventional aircraft the pilots had ever seen. It was white, it was smooth, it was oblong, roughly described as resembling a giant Tic Tac.
A cigar, I told you.
A Tic Tac. No wings, no visible exhaust, no obvious means of propulsion, no rotor blades. No control surfaces, nothing that immediately identified it as a known aircraft.
Maybe it was a tic-toc on his dashboard.
A tic-tac.
A tic-tac.
Fravor began manoeuvring for a closer look, and according to his account, the object responded. It moved, adjusted position. It appeared aware of the approaching aircraft. And then something happened that would become central to the mystery. The object...
Waved.
No, it accelerated away.
Waved.
It accelerated away, rapidly, extremely rapidly. Fravor later described it as disappearing almost instantly. Soon afterwards, radar operators reportedly detected a contact many miles away, near a predetermined training location. And the implication was extraordinary, because if the object observed visually and the radar contact were the same object, it appeared to have traversed significant distance in an astonishingly short period of time. And that interpretation remains heavily debated. Some researchers view it as evidence of capabilities beyond known aerospace technology. Others argue that incomplete information, radar ambiguity, and assumptions about object identity make such conclusions premature.
That's what it sounds like to me. They'd have a track. If the thing moved, there's not a speed limit that radar can track. You can take it down to milliseconds on a radar. But
if an object moves that quickly, it's impossible to track on radar, because it doesn't exist in one spot long enough to actually make an impression.
No, because the frequency that radar uses, you'd get flashes of it. No,
you overestimate our technology.
You were just saying how bloody good it is. You got infrared
compared to
cameras that can tell whether
1920.
they're wearing trousers or shorts.
I didn't say anything about what they were wearing. That was you hoping that they could see through clothes. You perv.
Well, anyway, we've done this Air Force.
I told you this is a reprise.
I know what happened to him. Sure.
Regardless, the encounter left a powerful impression on those involved. And remarkably, the story wasn't over. Another aircraft would soon record footage connected to the incident. Footage that would eventually become one of the most famous videos in UFO history. A recording simply known as FLIR 1. And that video would help launch a global conversation that continues to this day.
Was it a picture of Tic Tac again?
It was a video.
A video of Tic Tac.
This visual encounter involving Commander David Fravor, Marshal III Jr., would likely have remained a little-known military story had it not been for what happened afterwards. Following the initial sighting, another aircraft was directed towards the area. And unlike Fravor's jet, this aircraft carried advanced infrared targeting equipment capable of recording vids. Now, what that system captured became known as FLIR-1. For years, the footage remained largely unknown outside of military circles. Then, more than a decade later, it entered public view. And the video itself is surprisingly ordinary at first glance. There's no dramatic spacecraft filling the screen, no clear image revealing extraordinary technology. Instead, what you see is a distant object being tracked by a military targeting system. And the object appears as a bright shape against a darker background. Numbers and symbols fill the display, and pilots can be heard reacting as the target moves through the sensor's field of view. For many people, the video is a bit disappointing. After years of speculation about government UFO secrets, this wasn't the crystal clear evidence that they had imagined. But investigators and military personnel focused on something else, the context. The importance of FLIR 1 was not simply what appeared on the screen, it was where the footage came from and who recorded it, and the events around it. This wasn't anonymous footage uploaded to the internet, it came from military systems. And eventually, government officials confirmed its authenticity. And that confirmation marked a significant turning point, because for decades, many UFO discussions relied on photographs, witness accounts, or unverifiable claims. But now there was something different. officially acknowledged military footage connected to an incident that investigators couldn't explain.
But what did it show?
It showed the Tic Tac.
It was the same thing, the Tic Tac again.
Now, as public interest grew, researchers began analysing every frame. Some believed that the object demonstrated remarkable performance characteristics, but others argued that the video contained insufficient information to support such conclusions. Because there were questions: how large was the object? How far away was it? How fast was it moving? And what exactly did the sensors record? And these questions proved difficult to answer. A distant object viewed through sophisticated imaging equipment can sometimes behave in ways that can appear counterintuitive. Changes in camera angle or tracking systems, zoom levels, aircraft movement, everything can influence perception. The challenge was separating what the video actually showed from what observers believed it showed. And this challenge would become even more significant with the release of another famous recording, a video known as Gimbal. Now, the Gimbal incident happened in January of 2015. The Atlantic coast of the United States. Navy aviators conducting routine operations began encountering unusual radar contacts. And by this point, military sensor technology had improved dramatically compared with earlier decades. New radar systems could detect objects that older equipment might have missed entirely. Pilots reported seeing unidentified contacts with increasing frequency. Most were eventually explained, but some weren't. And among the incidents recorded during this period was an encounter that produced one of the most discussed videos in UAP history. The footage became known as Gimbal. Like FLIR 1, the video originated from a military targeting system, and it appears to show an object being tracked against the sky. At first glance, the footage might not seem particularly remarkable, but then the object appears to rotate. The movement is subtle, but unmistakable. As pilots react in surprise, the object seems to tilt while continuing its apparent motion. And for many viewers, this moment is striking. The apparent rotation became one of the defining images of the modern UFO era. Supporters of extraordinary explanations argued that the object exhibited behaviour inconsistent with conventional aircraft. Others, of course...
rotated?
Yes.
All aircraft can rotate.
Not on a pinpoint. You try turning a fucking Boeing 747 on a pinhead. See what happens. Anyway, others disagreed. Some analysts suggested the rotation might result from the imaging system itself rather than the object being observed. Infrared cameras contain mechanical and optical components capable of producing visual effects that can appear unusual. And under certain conditions, glare patterns may rotate as tracking systems adjust. If correct, the apparent rotation might reveal more about the camera than the target, so the debate remains active. But years after the video's release, experts continue discussing what exactly the footage shows. But regardless of interpretation, one aspect remains significant. The pilots involved considered the encounter unusual. The comments captured on audio reflect genuine surprise, and these were experienced aviators operating sophisticated equipment, and they believed that they were observing something noteworthy. That fact alone doesn't prove anything. Experienced observers can still misinterpret events, and technology can create misleading impressions. But the testimony remains part of the larger puzzle. Because UFO investigations rarely depend on a single piece of evidence. Instead, they involve overlapping observations, witness reports, sensor data, environmental conditions, video recordings and radar tracks. Each of them contributes a fragment of the overall picture. And as investigators examined the growing collection of military encounters, another video entered public discussion, a recording known as Go Fast.
So we've got FLIR, we've got Gimbal, and now we've got Go Fast.
Yes. Do you think Donald Trump had anything to do with these names? Operation Go Fast. It's the best
I heard
fact.
Go Fast confirm the Tic Tac thing.
If FLIR 1 raised questions and Gimbal sparked debate, Go Fast generated confusion. The video appears to show a small object moving really rapidly above the ocean.
A Tic Tac is pretty small.
Pilots tracking the target expressed excitement as they attempted to determine its speed. To many viewers, the footage seems straightforward. The object appears to be racing across the water at extraordinary velocity, but the reality is a bit more complicated. One of the most important lessons in modern UFO research is that appearances can be deceptive, especially when viewed through advanced military sensors. Perspective, distance, and camera geometry all matter. And in the case of Go Fast, these factors became central to the debate. Researchers examining the video noted that an object's apparent motion across a screen doesn't necessarily reveal its true speed. A distant object may seem to move quickly because of relative motion between observer and target.
Doppler effect.
It's actually called a parallax. Anyone who's looked out of the window of a moving vehicle has experienced it. Nearby objects appear to move really quickly, and distant objects appear to move more slowly. So, under certain circumstances, the effect can create misleading impressions. Several analysts argued that Go Fast is likely involved a relatively ordinary object moving at a more modest speed than initially assumed. But others remained unconvinced. Again, uncertainty persisted. The debate highlighted a recurring theme. Many UAP cases exist in a grey area where available evidence supports multiple interpretations. So one explanation may appear plausible and another remains possible.
You see, this is where I just, you've got the bloody American military with all of these sensors and you can't even tell what speed the object is moving. Some paraspax.
It seems that their advanced radar can't tell you exactly how far away an object is.
Well, that's ridiculous. What's the point in having radar if it can't tell you how far and how fast they're travelling?
How's the radar looking? Well, there's something out there.
It was just nonsense.
It doesn't seem great, does it?
That's exactly what these things are designed to do. You've been talking for 50 minutes about advanced sets of technology that's moved along for the last 20 years, and you're saying they can't even tell what speed something's going at because it might be confusing with the camera angle.
What can I tell you? Don't shoot the messenger. No, this uncertainty, as you are aware, frustrates everybody, both believers and skeptics. Believers sometimes view conventional explanations as attempts to dismiss anomalies, and skeptics sometimes view extraordinary interpretations as unsupported speculation. So investigators occupy a very difficult middle ground. Their task isn't to prove or disprove alien visitation, it's basically to determine what actually happened. And sometimes the honest answer is that the available evidence remains insufficient. So while public debate focused on videos, something equally important was happening behind the scenes. The Epstein files. So to distract everybody from the Epstein files, the Pentagon itself have begun taking the subject more seriously. Now, for many years, most people assumed official UFO investigations had ended with Project Blue Book, but that assumption turned out to be a lie. In 2017, reports emerged regarding a little-known Pentagon effort known as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Often referred to by its acronym AATIP, the program attracted immediate attention. And the revelation surprised many observers, because why would the Pentagon devote resources to investigating UAPs? Officials emphasised that national security concerns played a major role. Any unidentified object operating near military assets deserves attention, and whether the explanation involves foreign technology, surveillance systems, sensor anomalies, or something else entirely, investigators needed the answers. From a defence perspective, uncertainty itself can be a concern, so the emergence of RTIP reignited public interest. Former officials discussed their experiences, and researchers examined newly available information. Journalists, of course, pursued additional stories, and the conversation expanded quite rapidly, and soon additional investigative efforts became public, and government agencies reorganised responsibilities. New offices emerged, reporting systems improved, and data collection increased. So gradually, a more structured approach to UAP investigations began taking shape. And this shift reflected an important change, because for decades, the topic often carried professional stigma. Pilots worried that reporting unusual encounters might damage careers.
Military pilots.
Witnesses, as I told you, military pilots are mandated to report everything. Witnesses hesitated to come forward, and officials feared ridicule. The new investigative framework sought to reduce those barriers. If personnel observed something unusual, they were encouraged to report it, usually in the bar after work. Not because every report represented something extraordinary, but because unexplained observations might reveal important information. The object could be a drone, a surveillance platform, an atmospheric phenomenon, a sensor issue, or something not yet understood. The key principle was simple: collect the data first and draw conclusions later. And this approach would eventually lead to the creation of an office dedicated specifically to investigating UAPs. It became known as the X-Files, an organisation that would become central to the next phase of this story.
There's another phase to this story.
We've got a way to go yet. I don't do things by half measures, mate. Now, for years...
Lucky it's raining outside.
For years, discussions about UFOs largely existed on the fringe of public discourse. And that changed almost overnight. News organisations around the world began covering the military videos. Television networks aired lengthy segments, and podcasts dedicated entire series to the topic. Documentaries appeared, former military personnel gave interviews, and public interest surged. And the reason was not just the videos itself or themselves. The footage was important, but what truly captured attention was the combination of factors surrounding them. The military witnesses, official confirmation, government investigations, congressional interest. Suddenly, the subject seemed different, more serious and more credible. And the conversation had shifted from whether unusual reports existed to what those reports actually represented. And polls suggested growing public curiosity. What were these objects? Were they advanced foreign technologies, secret American programs, unknown natural phenomena, or something entirely unexpected? So no consensus emerged, but one fact became increasingly difficult to ignore. Military personnel were reporting encounters with unidentified objects more frequently than many people realised.
Yeah, but it's just, we've got these three bloody things, this FLIR, we got this Go Fast, and we got some GIMP suit or something. Gimbal. And that's it. And even those, the three pillars of your story so far, are all unconfirmed speculation.
Nobody is going to put their career on the line and say this is what this is. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, but you're building up to this government are taking it seriously, so it has to be real. I'm sounding like you now.
Government agencies are now acknowledging that the reality is...
The reality is that sometimes unexplained things happen. What's unusual about that?
You fall squarely on the skeptic side of this argument.
I'm not scared. To be honest, I don't care. What happens if aliens arrive tomorrow? How's that going to change my life on the island?
Well, what if they want to live in your house?
I don't think they would they?
But they might.
And if they do want to live in my house, how am I going to stop them if they've got the bloody technology to fly through? Because the thing is that these aliens are not going to come from bloody Uranus or Mercury, are they?
Not my anus, definitely.
They're going to come from somewhere that's so far away that we've never been able to identify any activity on the planet. And if they've come all this way, they can do what they like, can't they?
We'd be a weekend at Butlins for them.
Exactly. What are people worried about? There's so many things to worry about that are real, not bloody FLIR and go fast stripes and God knows what else. It's just why is it only the American government are wasting their time looking into this? How much time are the bloody Swedish government? They probably haven't given it a second thought in 50 years.
I apologise to our alien listeners.
Yeah, maybe if I rile them up enough, they'll come and visit me.
If you're going to get the worst probing of all time. In fact, they're going to put you on YouTube being probed, screaming like a girly. Now,
But you know what I mean? Who cares?
As more information emerged, attention turned towards the individuals who'd actually witnessed these events. The pilots, the radar operators.
On drugs.
People whose first-hand experiences form the foundation of the modern UAP debate. And their stories would become the next chapter in an unfolding mystery. And some of those accounts would prove every bit as intriguing as the videos themselves.
Please tell me we're not going to go through all the accounts now.
Are you sitting comfortably?
It's an hour and 20 minutes. People are going to need a bloody lunch break to listen to this episode.
We could actually make this a two-parter.
Well, it's up to you. But I mean, seriously, there's accounts that we're going to listen to, are there?
Well, there's more to this. I could definitely make this a two-parter.
Well, let's do it because, it's an hour and 20 minutes. That's our normal maximum length, isn't it? We can't have something that's 2 hours long.
Well, I mean, I can go on for 4 hours. It's not a problem.
Exactly. I mean, it's sort of mildly interesting, but I'm from the perspective of it's all a conspiracy just because it's a distraction against everything else that's going on in the world, and we should be focusing on that. Do you cover that in the latter part of this part 2 episode?
I'm not going to cover anything that's not strange. I'm not interested in geopolitics.
Well, it is pretty strange that there's so many people talking about things that are based on unsubstantiated, inconclusive evidence from 3 videos given names like Gimbal.
Which is more information than we've got about Trump and the Epstein files so far. So we're just playing with what we've got.
Oh, I suppose so.
Anyway.
All right. Well, should we do a second episode then?
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to. So this was episode 147. We're creeping closer and closer to the 250. In fact, we should hit episode 250 almost the same time as America hits 250.
Yes, we're going to have to do an episode all about America because we never talk about America.
We've ignored our American friends for far too long.
We have.
Anyway, thanks for listening so far. I hope, unlike Mark, you find this stuff mildly interesting and you'll join us again.
Interesting, but from a completely different perspective.
Hopefully, unlike Mark, you'll join us again next week when we conclude. When we conclude, Arabella's coming back, Mark's out. We've decided. So we'll see you same time, same place next week for part 2 of the UFO UAP. It's all alien to me episode.
Yep.
Have yourselves a strange week. If you do see a UFO or a UAP, get a video, send it to me. I can make money and I might give you a shout out.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Cheerio.